Greetings everybody, this is Leviathan here, and I'm bringing you what must be certainly the last update to the patch 2.6.1 PTR. I mentioned in the last video where we looked over the most recent changes that I felt those were going to be some of the last substantive changes, and from there we might see another update to PTR that would be probably smaller in size, tinkering with numbers a little bit. And it really feels like that's what we've got here in front of us. The PTR was updated a few hours ago, earlier today, making this video early in the morning on Friday, September 29th. So we're almost done with September here, and probably almost done with Season 11 too. There's no official end date for Season 11 just yet, but I'm hoping and thinking that that 2-week warning will be here quite soon, and then we'll get our start date for Season 12, and that's what everybody's looking after. Of course, the patch will drop before then, so all this that we see in front of us will hopefully go live and be delicious and tasty. But yeah, like I was trying to say to start, after the buffs come the balance. I think now they being the developers, saw kind of where everything was sussing out, coming around to the numbers that people were pushing with certain sets and setups and builds. And now they're kind of making sure that there aren't too many outliers, because the idea here, if you recall with the dev blog, is to really give players options at, you know, all the difficulty levels of the game. So even at the highest greater rifts that people are clearing, of course, you know, to be rank 1, there's probably going to be that one setup, that one build that does get the ranks. But along the way, and even amongst like maybe, you know, the top 20, top 50, top 100, there should be some diversity there, because these builds will all be within the realm of each other in terms of the highest greater rifts that they clear. So any outliers to that are going to have to be brought back into line. And so you'll see here that we'll have a few of these changes in red that showcase what they are messing with this time around. And you can see we're going to be going down in power for a lot of these. So for the Skull Grasp, which increases the damage of your Whirlwind, that's now moving down to 300 to 400%, because Wrath of the Waste with Whirlwind was by far the best clearing setup for the Barbs, ahead of everything else, so they're bringing that back down to earth a little bit. And hey, maybe that means Might of the Earth can come into play again and stuff like that. So that's kind of what the full totality of what you'll be seeing from these changes kind of signifies here. For a lot of these, it's mostly going to be on the sets that you'll see adjustments. A couple of the items did get some changes here, like Carlay's points, my Shadows setup. This one, unfortunately, it looks like it's all good here, right? But there was the hotfix that boosted these numbers, so it kind of one of the steps is missing here. There was a hotfix that boosted Carlay's point. Instead of the 60 to 80 to 375 to 500, which is quite a significant increase for the Carlay's point multiplier for Impale. Now in this iteration of the PTR, they've actually brought it down to earth as well, putting it in the range of 225 to 300%. A lot of people have been asking me, because I, you know, did a bit of extensive testing with Shadows on PTR after the hotfix, where do I feel like this puts Shadows now? I want to say we've lost a few greater rifts for certain. It was tough to even determine where the ceiling was previously. I was rating it probably as a, you know, greater rift 115 build, potentially higher, ranging up to the 118 maybe, with like the best conditions, really good gear, high paragon, etc., and the pipe dream of maybe like 120. But I would say now it's probably going to be in the 110 plus rating for sure, and probably extending up to like that ceiling of the 115, 116, 117 maybe. So it does kind of put it back on par with a lot of the other Demon Hunter offerings between Marauders and Nats, and even UE multi-shot now. I think you're going to have some competition for what's going to be exactly the best. I think a lot of bets are being hedged on M6 right now though. And an interesting change here, Raps of Clarity are getting a little boost in the amount of damage reduction you're getting from them. So any of the builds that use that in the Bracer slot, it's going to be pretty nice. Moving from 30 to 35% to 40 to 50%, so a wider range but higher values. So that 50% at the max is a 15% increase. And I mean, there are builds that we see for Demon Hunters like Marauders and UE. All those builds do utilize Raps of Clarity in their bracers, so this will make those builds a little tougher as they go into these higher greater rifts. It's actually going to be very welcome, so that's nice to see there. especially since Shadows actually was a build that doesn't use Raps of Clarity, use the strong arms. So, you know, there's a plus for that as well, moving in the other direction away from Shadows. Looking at the monks, they also got a improvement to their defensive bracers as well. Spirit guards, spirit generators reduce your damage taken, previously 30 to 40%, now 45 to 60%. So on the high max end, you're getting a 20% increase over the old spirit guards. That's pretty tasty. That works for, you know, some of the squishier builds like the Raiment. I believe they were using spirit guards, so now that's going to be a little bit hardier, stand up to the test. I think there are other monk builds that would utilize spirit guards as well too, so you're looking good here. More damage reduction. We're going to continue to move along here. Like I mentioned, a lot of the changes were really reserved for the sets, but we do have another one here for the Grand Vizier, a wizard two-handed staff. Previously reduced the arcane power cost of Meteor by 50% and increased its damage by 375 to 500, and they brought that down to 300 to 400%. So just a little bit of a downplay on those numbers there. Meteor stuff was looking pretty nice from what I saw people testing, and I think it'll still be solid here too though. Alright, so now we're into the sets, set items, set bonuses. So you can see again, Wrath of the Waste getting hit combined with the Skull Grasp. It's going to make it a little less powerful. The 6-piece set bonus is now going down to 3,000. Previously it was at 3,400%, so you're losing 400 there. Crusaders are actually going in the other direction on our Archon set. 6-piece set bonus went up to 1,300%. So I think at this point they've actually offset the nerfs, or the down tuning if you will, of the Gerfalcon's Foot and the Jecking Board from the last PTR, because now all that power is just written into the 6-piece set bonus here on the Archon set. And of course it still affects every build that uses the Archon set, so Condemn is again getting buffed here. Holy Shotgun or any of your Heaven's Fury builds are getting buffed here, so it's kind of interesting to see them continue to pump more power into the 6-piece set bonus. One thing I will continue to harp on though is that, you know, Condemn now has crazy damage output, no doubt, but what about the defense? And I almost imagine that maybe it's getting to the point where your damage is going to be so good just based off items that you'll probably convert like your Paragon, instead of putting it all into strength, maybe you put some into vitality, honestly, because I don't even know, you have to find somewhere to get that defense, and maybe that's what it is you'll have a lot of offense, and then you can start to offset maybe some offensive roles or some places that you would be seeking more offense for defense. Seeker of the Light is getting a boost here as well, the 6-piece set bonus going up to 1,500, previously at 1,250, so that's a nice little move in the right direction, keeping it in line, I suppose, with some of the other builds that have leapfrogged it based on the PTR changes over time. Again, remember that the Faithful Memory also got a small increase as well, although it's small, but then it's a multiplier with stacks, so it kind of, you know, balloons from there. So this should keep Blessed Hammer competitive. It is right now the best Crusader setup, and I don't know if this makes it, you know, right on par there again with like Invokers. I think is probably the best currently, but it should definitely keep it in the conversation. As you can see, Invokers received no changes because it's in a really solid spot. Moving along to Demon Hunters, this is one of the hot fixes that occurred. Nothing changed here for the set for Shadows, so the 6-piece set bonus did get increased for the Impale bonus damage to 50,000% over 40,000 previously. That's how it was with the hotfix, and that's how it's continuing in this PTR patch, so that's good. Just the Carly's point that got addressed. Moving on to the monks on Wuko's set, moving in the up direction. So now instead, this is crazy, man. The 6-piece set bonus just keeps getting better. So now Lashing Tail Kick, Tempest Rush, and Wave of Light have their damage increased by 1,000% for each stack of Sweeping Wind that you have. And again, the max stacks, I believe, is 10. So you're looking at a 10,000% multiplier here on your 6-piece bonus. Crazy. I think you're going to see a ton of Sun Wuko, Lashing Tail Kick, maybe Bells as well. Really wreaking havoc for the monks. It's pretty exciting stuff right there. Moving along. Nothing for the Necros, Witch Doctors, Helltooth Harness. As we had exclaimed the last time, got a ridiculous multiplier on their 6-piece set when they increased it to 5,100. So they've brought that one back down to reality. Now it's at 3,700%. So I think previously people were looking at like Helltooth Firebats as the way to go. And this should still make it better than it previously was, but I don't know if it's now the de facto thing that people will be going with for Witch Doctors. Jade probably now still reigns supreme. People were thinking that Witch Doctors could potentially still take the cake as the trash clearer in the 4-player meta, but I don't know if this affects that or if Eric here now comes back into the conversation. But there is still the whole consideration of, you know, these are area damage builds and there will be lag, so we'll have to see how much server stabilization efforts that they're doing, if that will affect what we see in terms of the best 4-player meta that people can come up with. And then Spirit of Arakir also got tuned down a little bit too. So the 6-piece set bonus here was previously at 4,500%, and that's now down to 3,900%. So probably a on par decrease with what we saw for Helltooth, or maybe not even. Maybe Helltooth really got bumped down just because that number was so egregious before, egregiously good. So we'll see. Again, you know, this is definitely going to affect some of those trash clearing things, and you know, who's going to take that spot. I really am curious to see how it all plays out. Wizards got a few adjustments as well. Previously mentioned here on these updates for PTR, you know, DMO came out the gates hot for PTR, was working really well, clearing some high-level greater rifts for Wizards, and now they've kind of backed off of it just a little bit, from 4,100% for that 6-piece set damage bonus to 3,800%, so you're losing 300% there. But all the other items and things are still intact for DMO, so I think it's still going to perform relatively well. They're just maybe taking its ceiling down a notch so that other stuff, you know, again, like we mentioned as the overall theme here, stays relevant. Firebird's Finery, this one also got a bit of a down tune. They really had pumped it up last time around with a 6-piece set bonus moving up to 250, but now it's coming down to 200%. I haven't really heard much rah-rah affair excitement from Firebird's users, so I don't know if this one is being tested all that much or if people are more excited about the other things, but I'll be curious to see what Wizards do with it. And then Veers is moving in the positive direction. 6-piece set bonus. Archon stacks now also reduce damage taken by 0.15% and have their damage bonus increased to 50%. And you gain Archon stacks when you hit with an Archon ability. So they're continuing to increase that damage bonus stacking that you can do with your Veer 6-piece. So I guess they're probably still not seeing what they want to see out of full Veer's usage, and that's why you're seeing that continue to go up. Alright, last but not least, they fixed a couple of issues here. Fixed an issue where you would not gain the buff from Crystal Fists when you had the buff from Channeling Pylon and Raiment of 1,000 Storms equipped. And on PTR only, they fixed an issue with the Etch Sigil where the internal cooldown for casting another spender was scaling with the item's damage roll. Huh, interesting. Good fixes there. I think there were a couple of... Oh, nope, that was it. Okay. When I was looking at it on my phone, there was like some weird text type stuff there. So yeah, that's it, guys, from PTR. Just a few, like I said, set adjustments. Some of them going down, some of them going up. Really trying to find that parity, that leveling out so that you can play multiple builds and feel good about it. Feel like you're still clearing significant greater rifts and such. So exciting things to look forward to. Like I mentioned, probably seeing the end of Season 11 soon, and then that'll give us our Season 12 start date, so get hyped for that. I'm going to come back with another video relatively soon talking about BlizzCon. We did get some announcements about that earlier this week. I'm waiting to see if anything else drops before I produce that video. But we'll talk about what it might mean for the future of Diablo 3 and the future of the franchise. So look forward to that. Come check out the stream. I've been trying to do that a bit more regularly now too. That's twitch.tv/Leviathan111 right above my head right there. And otherwise, I am out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you enjoy. Take care. Leave me some comments.